Hi, everybody. So that's it for today.
Hey, right
No, we have one more person.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
In classic old what's-his-face style,
That's right.
he's not on time.
No. Oh.
I mean,
You know where Misha is.
we do.
Just go. Sci-fi.
It does beg the question, where's Misha? I don't know. Where's Misha? I don't know.
Oh boy.
No, Robbie, I don't know.
Who is Misha?
I don't know. You know, maybe Kelly and Connolly are tired of crap and it's taken away. Giving a drug to make a nap and slam away in a plane to keep them away from politics. Hold on, I have a guess. Let me look one more place. Now just tilt your head slightly. Go the other direction.
And 30 seconds.
Drop your knees. There's Misha. You have a director's eye and an incredible reveal at the end. What I did was an optical illusion. Well, the good thing is, you came on so subtly that no one actually noticed you were here, so it was easy to kind of redo it. I tipped to the cap of your artistic vision to pick the smallest person in the building. What do you say? I'm simply saying that
I can take a hint.
You have no carbs for me. You have to be two-dimensional to hide behind Ruth.
I like how he just walked out. He didn't wait for the intro.
Didn't know. Why do that? Why let us do the thing we work on all year when you can shit on it? No,
All I heard is I come racing from my previous obligation directly panting because I'm rushing to be timely, efficient.
Right.
I open the door and I hear, "Where's Misha?" I don't know. And then so speaking of a slight, that really makes me feel like there's no way to win. You're setting me up for failure.
No, I'm setting you up for
tardiness.
Let me tell you something. I'm setting you up for guaranteed success because what we did as a collective, the band and myself, is we took your laissez-faire approach to con attendance and turned it into a hit single. So when you are not on stage on time, they are begging to hear where's Misha. So, in a way, everybody wins when you pull the crap that you pull.
It actually doesn't actually matter if you're not playing our hit song. So when you came out with the song, like, hey buddy, we're playing our hit.
At least wait till the chorus, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so this is the part of the job that I have to do contractually. I want to make it official, otherwise I can't start the clock on the con. So here I go. Right? Good people, Chicago. Misha Collins.
I'd like to read your whole contract because it sounds interesting. You must say good people. You must stand at the front left of the stage. You must bow quasi-deferentially toward the audience.
You must insult your fellow castmates. Hello, Chicago. How many of you are actually Chicagoans and how many are interlopers? So the way I phrase that question, I'm not a professional sociologist, but I know that that was bad survey technique. How many of you are from Chicago? And how many of you are interlopers? Interlopers are either more numerous or more vocal. Well, I love all of you. Just wondering whether I can tell you this or not. I was shooting last night. It was a scene in which both myself and the entire crew, the director, everybody sort of faced it with a bit of trepidation because they knew that I was physically vulnerable in the scene to the abuses of my castmates. It did not end well. It's difficult to talk about without being too spoilery, and also just because of the emotions that it brings up. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it's a fun thing to be at work and to be sort of just rigid with fear. You know, that shouldn't be how it goes, and yet that's how it was. And by the way, completely founded fear, is it? But you'll probably see a gag reel at some point. As I leap up and clutch my feathers. Okay, well, enough about that. What do you guys want to talk about?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering how many trench coats have you gone through during the course of the series?
To be perfectly frank with you, the number is large. I don't know, but I do know that...
3 digits?
Huh?
3 digits?
We could be on the cusp of triple digits. The original trench, I believe, was a JCPenney purchase. It is only the finest of the cast. And they made the mistake of thinking that I was only going to be around for a few episodes. So they bought like 4 or 5 of them. They knew that they were going to damage one in the first episode because I would get shot and stabbed. So they had a bunch of them at the outset. I think we started with 5 or 6. And then it was like, oh, this jack-off is going to stick around. Okay. We'll go buy a few more. They went to all the JCPenney's in the Pacific Northwest and they bought up all the trench coats. And I think we had like a dozen in reserve. And then we burned through those. And then they went national and global. And then JCPenney's didn't have them. And so they had to start making them. Which, like, to make one cost the same as to buy the whole previous 24 of them. So that became really prohibitively expensive. Which I think may have been a contributing factor to them switching Cass's attention. Because it's like, you know what? Cass changes his style. He doesn't need this expensive this $2,400 JCPenney trench coat anymore. So So you have a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a weird wardrobe because mostly on television, you know, actors like go in once a week or once every couple of weeks for a fitting and try on new clothes for each episode. Cass doesn't do that. Cass actually wears, like a homeless person wears out his clothes. Like my suit will get to the point where it's like, you know, guys, the seams are coming apart. There's a hole in the crotch, right? I don't know if you're aware of that. So, yeah. Hi.
Hi. You're the reason I started watching the Supernatural season again, because I could see a character called Castiel, so I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh. I really enjoyed it. It's all good. But anyway, my question was, if Meg survived, do you think something would have developed between Castiel and Meg?
You mean like a baby?
Take it that way, sure. Or something. A little family.
Well, I mean, something definitely was developing between Cass and Meg. They grew on one another, for sure, over time. It was an interesting dynamic because it was the first time I think that Cass had been flirted with really consistently. And it made him, obviously except for Dee. And it made him very uncomfortable, but he was clearly intrigued as well. So it was an interesting thing to play with. We miss on the show Rachel Miner. She is a lovely woman and a beacon of light, a sweetheart, and somebody who really works hard at being good. So I like her. And I thank her because I often get people to photo op saying, treat me like Meg. So she was provided fodder for poses. Hi.
Hi. My question is, can anything supernatural ever happen on set?
Yes, as a matter of fact. We were sitting in the Impala. It was me and Jared and Jensen. And we're shooting a scene inside the studio. And they do this weird thing with lights it's called the poor man's process, which is sort of something that we kind of perfected on Supernatural that's been replicated on other shows. But it looks like you're driving by lights and things, but it's just somebody rocking the car from behind. It's very high tech. And we were sitting in there, and there was a mist going on the windshield and windows. From guys that had little sprayers, so because it was raining, the wipers were on. And we were shooting a scene, and all of a sudden, the hairs kind of stood up on the back of my neck because there was a truly otherworldly smell in the car that could not have been from the earthly realm. And I knew that some sort of supernatural monster had farted in the car. I think all of the detail and the setup helped.
Brought my teenage daughter and me together. I just want to thank you. I'm sorry.
That is lovely to hear. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Is that good for you?
We share Supernatural, the whole.
That's amazing. How old is your daughter?
That's 18 and going to college as well. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have you been watching together since she was 7?
Yes.
Okay, so that's questionable parenting, but.
Supernatural convention.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And you are retired from your career?
No, still working, if you can believe it.
Well, I think you referenced your career in the past tense when you introduced yourself, so.
Thank you very much. In fact, what you do is you're going to miss Super Mark Shepard Crowley. We love him so much. Are you going to miss him?
Am I going to miss him?
Yeah.
Me personally? I don't think anyone personally misses Mark. More abstractly, you know, like, where's Mark? Yes, I mean, Mark is destined, obviously, for great things. So I don't feel like we're really going to be missing him. He'll be on lots of TV shows as he always has been. He'll be laughing at us, looking in the rearview mirror as his career sort of skyrockets on the big screen, and we are languishing on the CW. But I think that we'll be seeing lots of them. And again, personally, I won't miss it all.
So we're really excited for the Scooby-Doo crossover, and I was wondering if there was any other show.
Isn't that like pure magic? When I heard about that, I just kind of got the chills and thought, this is amazing. This is great television, which I don't think that anybody ever would associate with Scooby-Doo. No offense to the creators of Scooby-Doo, but it was like, oh my God, that is absolute genius. That's going to be amazing. And I think it will be too. The way, you know, there are certain reasons. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about this. Actually, not enough. But there are certain restrictions with property as storied as Scooby-Doo. Like you can't, like the main characters can't be killed. And things like that. But this particular episode of Scooby-Doo, and it will be an episode of Scooby-Doo, will push the boundaries on their, you know, the limits that are set for that show. And it'll be, I have characterized it as the shit getting real. Scooby-Doo. A lot of, unfortunately, because now we have like a whole second generation audience for Supernatural because it has been on since the late 60s. And they won't understand the reference of Scooby-Doo, I don't think. It'll be like, oh, I think I maybe recognize those characters. So it'll be for the more mature audience. Not in the extreme sense, just all that. He does get Randy in the other realm. So it's gonna be good. Yep.
So I was just wondering if there was any other TV show you could do a crossover with, what TV show would it be?
Oh, you mean Supernatural crossover?
Yeah.
I would say probably Fox and Friends. Good, how are you?
I'm a teacher, and I always try to incorporate like actors and people they might know in my classroom when it comes to service, and the things you guys do on your show and what you do for people is absolutely fabulous. So if I could take anything back to my kids, what is something that you would tell them? My son's going to take it first. What is something that you would tell them about helping others? It's a rough group of kids. They're very low socioeconomic, very, very stressful lives. What's something you would tell them that they could do to help other people?
Stop watching television. Be the first thing. Well, I don't know. I guess I was raised in, as you say, rough socioeconomic circumstances, and I remember as a kid, we were the recipients occasionally of other people's generosity. Not huge things, but I've told this story before, but I remember it vividly. One Christmas when I was in first grade,
a mother of a kid in my class gave my mother $100 so that she could buy Christmas presents for me and my brother. She didn't ask for it, my mom didn't ask for it, and didn't have her hand out or anything, but the woman saw that we didn't have money and did that. And it meant that we had like a kind of extravagance around Christmas that we couldn't have imagined, and it was amazing, and I remember it. And there were another handful of instances where relative strangers demonstrated relatively small acts of kindness toward me and my family when I was a kid. And it stuck with me my whole life. And it has kind of been a reminder to me that it doesn't take a whole lot to make a lasting impression on someone. There's another example of something that me and my wife did for something. That we were remodeling our house. This is going to turn into a long story. It isn't something that we could tell your kids. But we were remodeling our house back in 2001, and it was basically we were building a house. And I drove to Home Depot and I picked up a guy who spoke no English and I spoke no Spanish, and his name was Carlos. And I just wanted help putting debris into a dumpster, and that was what he did. And he was not at all skilled. Even putting debris in a dumpster seemed beyond his skill level. But somehow it became clear that he didn't have a place to stay, and so he ended up sleeping in the crawl space under our house, which sounds like it's not a great accommodation, but we were basically sleeping under the crawl space 2 at a time, so it felt pretty generous. But subsequently, we found out that he was separated, his kid is back home in El Salvador, his wife is back home, and he's up here alone, and he doesn't really have the skills to work, but he's just trying his hardest to send some money. So we would, over the years, we would invite him over for Thanksgiving, or we'd have our friends over and he'd come to Thanksgiving. You're up. So that was 2001, and a couple of years ago, he called and he was having a hard time. By the way, he taught me basic Spanish. I taught him basic English over time. But he called up and he was having some trouble financially, and so we brought over. I said, well, I'm gonna bring you over some money, and you don't have to worry about paying me back. And so I was bringing him a couple $100, and I brought it to his house, and he said, come upstairs. And he was sleeping on someone's couch there. And he opened up his bureau, and in there was his clothes and this photo album. And the photo album was just pictures of us and him. And, sorry. The point of the story is that we didn't even realize, he was in our lives just an afterthought, We were just trying to, extend a courtesy to somebody who had been sweet in our lives. But we had no idea that we were, his family here, which we were. And I think that is sort of critical to know. It doesn't take a lot to potentially have a really big impact on something. To be their whole photo album, and there were people that did that for me when I was a kid. I'd like to think that I can have a presence of mind to occasionally extend that to other people as an adult.
So the smallest acts of kindness.
So I just want to know how you feel about fans getting tattoos of things you write out. Because I don't know if you remember, but I met you in England and showed you a tweet my friend tweeted about wanting to get a tattoo on our house of the insults that you showed Trump.
I think this is such a great follow-up to the last question. It's there's such a great continuity here. What's an inspirational thing that I can tell my kids? And what's a great thing I can get tattooed on my ass?
It may or may not have happened.
It happened?
I told you she'd stick to her word, so I made her do it.
Oh, that's the friend right there with the tattoo on?
I have it.
Okay. Are you going to model it for us? Quote.
I see it though?
That depends. How old are you? 19?
Yeah.
I'm not going to card you, but I'm going to just go ahead and play it safe and say, no ass right now. Just to be cautious. What does it say though? You can describe it vividly, please.
Okay. Well, you wrote out D-bag for me to get tattooed. That was your
What an asshole. Oh my god, that's such a great yin and yang to the previous question.
I wasn't going to get any handwriting, but I decided that calligraphy might be better.
Okay.
So it's calligraphy D dash bag. And it's bigger than what I expected.
So, the flip side of that, of course, is that you can have one capricious act of malice that sticks with somebody for the rest of their life. I'm so sorry. Would you like to come to my house for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. My family Thanksgiving, my mom doesn't know how to cook, so.
Oh, Jesus.
And Misha, first of all, super excited about Gishmas this year. I'm a little sad that it might be the last one, but I'm really excited to what we do next. It's going to be insane.
I hope so. I mean, I think, how many of you guys are doing dishes before? Those of you who aren't, you're missing out, and you have like another week or something like that to register, and it's going to be epic. We have one thing that's very cool that we have planned, and a bunch of lame things. But it might well be the last Gishwas. I think it will be the last Gishwas. So those of you who haven't signed up and don't want to miss out, I should probably do that. I do have, we have an ambitious plan to do something different. So it's not like nothing. But that hasn't yet, totally come together. So I can't tell you what it is.
That wasn't a question.
I know. I'm preempting. Just like Trump Jr. sending out the emails. I'm just putting it out there so that you can't bug me about it later.
So, one of my very favorite things about Supernatural is the writing and how nuanced it is. And I think it's inspired a lot of us to become writers within the fandom. So my question to you is, which writer do you feel like has written casts, like the cast that you like the most? What writer really encompasses and understands casts?
I think there are actually a lot of different writers who have kind of nailed qualities of casts. I feel like there was a strange synergy between Ben Edlund and Cass. Because in some ways, I think that Ben Edlund's mind and Cass's mind worked similarly in some respects. I mean, he sort of thinks on this sort of grand, metaphysical, sometimes abstract plane that I think really dovetailed well with Cass's perspective of the world. So there were, I just think that there were a couple of episodes that Ben wrote that were Cass-heavy episodes that were really kind of awesome and allowed Cass to explore, to plumb the depths of his psyche in ways that I don't think other writers have quite yet.
Very cool, thank you.
Yeah. Hi.
So my
season. Do you think he's going to be like more of a parental figure, or see him kind of more as an ally, or do you think that Castiel's going to see him as an enemy?
Yes. Thank you. Hi.
I'm Jordy. My question for you is, right before you killed her, Billy the Reaper mentioned that there
Boy, you say that with such spite. Right before you killed her. You heartless bastard.
I actually loved it, I cheered.
Oh, shame on you.
But anyway, she had mentioned to Cass and the boys that there was going to be consequences for the deal that they were about to break. What do you think those consequences might be?
You may have missed some of season 12. But I would reference you to the end of season 12. And then think about that question and watch the end of season 12 and see if you come back with any answers.
I've already seen it.
Okay. Thoughts?
I'm still trying to cope with the fact that it happened.
Okay. So you're in such desperate denial right now that you can't even process. Cosmic consequences, death everywhere, a tear in the fabric of reality. That's not computed as cosmic consequences at all. The birth of Lucifer's son. It's not ringing any bells or.
No, I just thought that was separate.
Yeah. You're waiting for the really bad thing to happen. Okay. Well, shit. Okay. We'll be on the lookout. Thank you.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
I'd like to start by saying again, thank you for your choice. It's been life-changing, and anyone that is thinking about doing it and is not signed up, do it seriously. It's a good thing.
Thank you. I'll have to do that.
And also, you are just such an inspiration for people and their fitness. And I want to know what your fitness regime is, because you are definitely beefed up as of late.
Oh, what is my... Okay, so if you want to beef up, as you say, like me, the trick is a lot of cereal with milk. I've been trying to work out lately. I'm trying to get fit, and I just keep getting heavier. And it's like, I weigh more now than I've ever weighed, and it's terrifying. It's not, trust me, it's not all muscle. I recently have, there was this guy, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm training for this thing, you know, I'm doing this thing, like there's a bunch of running, and then there's paddling, and then there's mountain biking, it's like this race, and you wanna, he didn't invite me actually, he was just telling me about it. And I was like, oh, I'd love to do that too. Is there room on your team? And he kind of hesitated for a second and he was like, yeah, I mean, you know, we could have up to 4 people on a team. We have 3. I sort of, there was a pregnant pause, and I was like, well, how about if I were your 4th? And he was like, oh, okay. So anyway, I signed up. I volunteered myself to join this team with relative strangers. As it turns out, all of them have done Ironman before. Which I have not done. So that really has lit a fire under my pan, and I'm really trying to just not embarrass myself. So I guess
my fitness regime is just one of face saving and shaming. Those are my key motivating factors right now.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
This is my first convention, and
How's it going so far?
I like it. I feel very honored that I'm asking you a question.
I feel honored that you're asking, like, you could ask any of these people a question, and you're asking me a question. Makes me feel great. What's the worst part of your first convention?
Being nervous.
Yeah. It gets better, trust me. By your 10th or 12th convention, butterflies are settling down.
My question is, on the show, what's your favorite, like, most iconic one-liner that somebody says?
That someone says?
Yeah.
Well, there are a handful of them that stand out to me. I like hey ass butt. Because I said it, you know. I like it because it was like Cass in a really important kind of badass superhero moment where he just couldn't think of an insult. You know? I mean, like it all comes to a head in this one moment. And he's like, ass butt. I remember when I was in 4th grade, I was new at this school, I was getting picked on by like the playground bully, his name was Jake, and we were playing dodgeball, and he just stuck up behind me and threw the ball right in my face. I started crying in front of everybody, and everybody started laughing, and I said, "Drop dead, you, Jake, you." That was basically what Cass did. He said, he just panicked, and he couldn't think of anything. So that's a good one. Family Don't End in Blood is obviously. She does. Tell her she's a woman of taste and discretion. Taste and discretion. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm Misha. I have to do a little shout out. This question came from my daughter Natalie, so she's up here with me. We'd like to know what was your favorite personality of Cass, Leviathan Cass, Crazy Cass? Which was your favorite, and which was your most challenging to play?
Well, I think my favorite was probably Human Cass. I actually liked playing Lucifer. I think the most challenging was Crazy Cass, which, speaking of Ben Edlund, do you guys hear an echo too? Yeah, that's nice. Ben wrote that episode, and he also directed it, where Cass sort of shows up crazy. And we started out, I showed up, you don't have a lot of time to rehearse on, network television. It's kind of like you show up, you have an idea. I showed up, I had an idea. Ben was like, that's not a very good idea. Why don't you play the character totally opposite of what you're doing right now? We'll try it that way, totally opposite. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll try totally opposite. And we did a take, and he came back and he said, that's not working. Can you do something else? And so I went opposite again, and it just felt a little weird, and I never felt like I really sunk my teeth into it. And I think that probably just happens sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of characters that I play that are iterations of Cass, and they've all been fun in some respect. But that one, for some reason, stands out as the most challenging. There's a challenging one. Thank you.
Hi. This is my first Supernatural convention as well.
What was your other convention, the non-Supernatural convention?
Anime Midwest. It was here last week.
What was it?
Anime Midwest.
Oh, how was that different?
Anime.
Sort of like Scooby-Doo. Was it awesome?
Yeah.
Was this more awesome?
Yeah.
Now we can carry on.
I was wondering, what was your favorite part about filming either season 12 or just filming like the whole of Supernatural?
It's a great question. First of all, I have no recollection of what happened in season 12. I don't have a ready answer for you. I mean, I think that over time, my favorite part about working on Supernatural has been becoming friends with the cast and crew of the show. I think when I started, which was season 4, I was coming into a group that was pretty tight-knit, but we all have become closer friends. We've all become close friends, and also a lot of the guest cast who have come on the show have also become a part of this sort of close-knit kind of tribe that we have now. They're people, we're just like, we know each other well, we have good banter with one another. It feels like we're a part of a team, and that's kind of awesome. So I think that has been my favorite part of working on the show in the long term. Is like that family that we have. And we actually, I mean, this sounds totally cheesy, but last night we were having a conversation where we referred to it as him on set. Somebody left a crew member left the show and we were talking about it, but he's family, and I think that it's just willing to feel it, which is kind of remarkable. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you ever thought about, or do you think if Jimmy Novak has ever regretted his decision to say yes to Cass?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he has. And unfortunately, I think there's no do-overs. He was like in there screaming, like, no, I want out. When Cass goes and now, when did we determine that Jimmy died? Season 5, right? Yep. Right after Hey Ass. So he hasn't been suffering terribly for too long. But I think that being stuck in Cass's head probably was like, he wanted a do-over right away. It's one of those impulsive things. Oh, all right, you can take over my body. No shit, never mind. Hey, can you hear me? I want out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it's like a lot of pressure. Like an angel comes and is like, hey, I want your body. And it's obviously tempting to say, well, yeah. But it's a bad idea. Hi.
Hi. So I'm just going to read off my phone because I've never talked in front of so many people. It's really weird.
Okay.
I was just going to bring the topic of Fishmas back because I was just wondering if you had always planned for it to end sometime around this year, and what your future goals are after it's over. And I'm super sad about it ending because I had so much fun last year participating in it.
I'm glad that you have had a good experience and that it hasn't been all suffering. No, I didn't always plan for it to. And however, I also didn't necessarily plan for it to go on for as long as it has. I'm somebody, I was talking about this earlier, but I'm somebody who kind of likes to do new things, and I think that I just have maybe ADD or something, and I'll like, once I've done something, I kind of want to do something new. And as much as I love Dishwiz in its current form, I feel like it's possible to do something totally different. It's also spectacular. So I just want to try something new. Yeah, and And along the way, we've managed to pick up some creative partners who can maybe help us do something unique and new that won't be a catastrophic disappointment to you, hopefully.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you have planned.
Good. Thank you.
What has been your favorite stunt or fight scene to be a part of?
Well, I would say that my favorite, let's see. My favorite stunt was actually a very simple stunt. I don't remember what episode or even season, for that matter, this was, but Jared, he plays Sam. He was, Gadriel. I don't think the front two rows have watched the show. Don't criticize my question. So, he was possessed, I think, by Gadriel. I can't really remember the details, but I do remember that Bob Singer was directing, and he had this idea, which we were in this kitchen, in this house, and I was going to punch Sam out of the blue. He was just going to walk around, I was going to punch him, he was just going to go flat out. And so we did the first take, and the way it was shot, sort of like it was like a 70s sort of kung fu style thing, where you actually just see my fist coming at the camera. And so we did a take, and everybody happened to be behind the monitors at that moment, like, you know, the director and Jensen and a bunch of other people. And everybody burst out laughing and came running on the set. And like, that was hilarious. And I was like, what? And then I remember Jensen looking at me like, you're not kidding. And apparently the punch that flattened him, that was directly in camera, looked kind of like this. That was my favorite stunt. Thanks for bringing it up.
What is the strangest thing a fan has ever sent you or given you?
I think I don't know if I mean, there's a whole panoply of strange things that I have gotten, ranging from, you know, used underwear to strange pickled, unidentifiable pickled products. If it's a homemade pickle and you can't tell what it is, as adventurous as I am, I'm probably not going to eat it in front of you. That's a rule I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
This is my second year doing Gizzards. So my question was, what inspired you, gave you the idea to start it to begin with?
Well, it kind of started on a combination of things, but one of them was that I went to school here in this fair in Windy City. I went to the University of Chicago, and we had, I went to the University of Chicago long ago, and probably before you were born. And at the time, the University of Chicago kind of prided itself on being like this academic pressure cooker where nobody was going to have any fun. And that was just like, when I got there as a freshman, they were like, oh, we're opening the student center. And then they were like, nah, never mind, we're not going to do that. That sounds too fun. So there was no student center. Everybody just hung out in the basement of the library. The windowless basement of the library was like where you went to have fun. It was not a party scene. And yet, there was this one thing every year called Scab, which was a scavenger hunt that we did that was totally awesome. And for a few days, I think it was 3 days, we would just abandon all of our schoolwork and go be total assholes and try to accomplish really difficult to accomplish things. Like, you know, one of the items on the scavenger hunt might be get 3 speeding tickets in Canada on 1 license plate. So you just have to go up to Canada and speed. Awesome! Or 30 parking tickets to 1 license plate, which my friend Chester furnished 2 teams with. He had worked out a system where he could get parking tickets forever and they wouldn't figure it out somehow. So anyway, it was great. It was like a highlight for me. Loved it. And then I'd been carrying around this list of ideas of like little art projects that I thought, I was like, oh, that would make a good art project. I had this running list. And the list was like 10 years old, and I realized I'm not doing any of this stuff. I'm too lazy. So I realized I could combine these 2 things and have other people do my projects for me while doing a scavenger hunt. It's sort of like, you know, exploiting. Worked out great. And then I remember getting the first pictures back from it, you know, because the very first scavenger hunt that I ran online was people just emailed in their submissions. And I opened up my email and I was looking at these and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I remember laughing at how, you know, these humiliating things people were willing to do. So I have this very distinct memory. We were in the apartment that my son West was born in Vancouver, and I was opening these emails, and I just had this like wave. It was almost like an epiphany, where I thought, this is what I was meant to do. This is it. And I was at that moment looking at a photo of a young, you know, teenage boy who had covered his entire body in cotton candy and had lipstick all over his face. And he was just standing in front of a closet door in a bedroom, and he was looking like cotton candy was like melting to his flesh. And he looked so miserable. And I was like, this is what I was meant to do. This is my life's purpose. Yes?
So when you're reading the scripts beforehand, do you ever have any that really surprise you, or you're kind of thinking like, why would you do that?
Yes. All the time. No, you know, I think that early on I got in my head like ideas of where I thought things could go or where I wanted things to go, or somehow I would get attached ideas about the storyline of the show, and I have stopped doing that because every time I think I know where things are going, it goes in a different direction. So I'm just more now along for the ride, and that's a better mindset because I don't get disappointed. But it also, I do get surprised. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could tell you more about what I've recently been surprised by, but I can't. Hi.
Hi. Do you feel like you'll pass your eccentric personality down to your kids?
Pardon me? I consider myself a very buttoned up, upstanding citizen, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you feel like your kindness will be passed on to your kids?
Oh, bullshit. I got a video earlier today from Mason, and she was drawing a picture, and it was of a hot dog bush. And she was explaining it like it was the most obvious, sane explanation for where hot dogs come from. And I definitely did think, that's my girl. I mentioned this earlier, but there was we have glitter all over our house. There was a glitter situation that happened, and it's never, no matter how much you vacuum, there's always more glitter. And then the other day, my son spilled stuff all over the place, and I, being the upstanding citizen that I am, I was like, Wes, you go get the vacuum cleaner, and you vacuum that up. Okay, Dad. And I heard him merrily vacuuming up, and I thought, you know what? the tide is shifting. Things are changing around here. Life is getting easier. And then I came back in to the little mudroom where he was vacuuming, and because the vacuuming had stopped. And he'd opened the vacuum cleaner up and taken the bag out and dumped all the contents out of the vacuum cleaner bag, which was all of the glitter that we've been collecting since Christmas. Trying to get at some of the toys that he had intentionally vacuumed out while he was vacuuming. But anyway, now there was this explosion of glitter all over the place, which he determined was evidence, which he said was fairy dust. And Vicky said, well, there's some evidence that fairies really exist. And he looked at her like, and said, why would you need evidence that fairies exist? Everybody knows they exist. Who was drinking out of this? Was it me?
Craziest thing you've ever done?
Definitely can't talk about that. Shame on you! Boom! Turncoat! Jezebel! Jezebel! Shame, Jezebel! I begged him not to take the stage, Mr. Collins. I begged him not to. But you know how rhythm sections are. They won't listen to a word of sense. Jezebel! And you're just a whore.
It's unfortunate that they're booing because they don't want you to, they want to keep talking to you. Not only did we come on stage, we completely hogged your time. And we apologize for that.
I blame Mike.
Look, they're leaving, they're so upset.
Wouldn't you?
Misha, how did it go?
Come on, okay. The beginning, the very, very beginning, and the very end were a little rocky, but otherwise it was good.
What was unfair what the theme was? Both those.
Let's isolate the variables. How was your time? How was your time in the green room?
You know what?
Great. We actually we all realized that we really liked the song "Big Country" by the band Big Country.
They're Scottish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. I'm not familiar with this.
We just, oh, sure you are.
In a big country, stay with you like a lover's love across the mountainside.
Ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. So have you done a tour? Are you doing a tour here?
I did on Thursday. On Thursday, I did a bus tour.
Where do you take people when you do a tour?
Oh man, where did we go? We drove. Well, we went to the Museum of Science and the Field Museum. As you know, Field Museum. We went to Millennial. I call it Millennial Park, but we found out it's actually Millennium Park. But I think it's a park for the millennials. Like it only texts and never calls you back. And then we drove by a lot of places. We drove by the John Hancock building. We drove by the bar where I fell down some steps. It was a very thorough.
I like the idea of it's sort of the Rob Benedict college shave tour. Yeah, I pissed myself over there.
And right in this corner here.
Woke up with my own vomit.
I shit my pants right in this corner, and I'll never forget it. Yeah, so it was sweet. It was really great. You would have loved it because it was me talking about things I don't know. Yeah, it was great. Literally, people would ask questions, and then someone else on the bus would answer. The other funny thing is we drove by this place called Buckingham Fountain. And they said, what's that called? I didn't know it was Buckingham Fountain. So I'm like, Siri, what's that called? And so it's Buckingham Fountain. I go, Siri, when was Buckingham Fountain made? And then Siri goes, calling Buckingham Fountain. Which was annoying, but also, which phone? Like, hey, Buckingham Fountain! It was you, it was Mitch.
Yo, it's Rich. We'll get to where.
Sounds great.
Well, how was your time with the people of Chicago?
I remember we were at a bar just north
Right there with the entire crowd?
me and these folks. We were at a bar just north of downtown when we were in college, and it was one of those freezing cold, icy Chicago winter nights, and we weren't at a bar, we were driving, and Vicky was like, oh, there's a spot, I have to pee so bad. She ran into the bar to go pee, and I was waiting in the car right out front. It was a corner bar, so it had little steps that went up a few steps into the door, and there were windows on both sides, the bar inside. Vicky went in and said, I need your bathroom. They said no. She said, okay. She went out on the front steps, took her pants off, right in front of the bar, with everybody inside going. And even the bartender was kind of like, all right, props to you. Point well taken.
Respect.
The college shade, sure.
Sure.
So,
that would be a great way to.
Yeah, you can use that. I'll drop a pin for you for the next year's tour.
and I think for the crowd here, the takeaway is on the off chance Vicky Collins knocks on your door. For the love of Christ.
Fair warning.
Let her use it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins! There's autographs.
Lots of graphs going on.
There's photographs, there's pie charts, there's flow charts. It's graphs and charts from here on out.
Hey, listen, if you're on the fence about Saturday night, get off the fence. Come see us. You won't be sorry. It's a great show.
I know some of you might be thinking, I've spent so much. Well, why stop now? That's our motto here at Creation. You're bummed. They'll be really bummed. Financially. Robbie will be there fronting the ensemble, known as Loud Swing. Also joining you on stage will be,
Mike's glasses and
the ghost of Loud Swing. Unbelievable.
like an outline of the curtain on the right.
Yeah, Billy's beard. All right. Good stuff. We're going to work on our segues, you understand? Thanks, guys.
I think I am a nice person.
Yeah, sure. I think a Trump joke now. All right, so we're leaving you to do your autographs. And then tonight, we'll be back with music for you. You're doing great Saturday, people. We're proud of you.